What happened to Amelia Earhart? It's one of the most iconic unsolved missing persons cases in American history. 88 years later, people still speculate what became of Amelia, and dedicated professionals are still looking for the plane. Amelia was a celebrity at the time, having received the Distinguished Flying Cross from Congress for being the first woman to fly solo nonstop across the Atlantic. She set records and became known worldwide as an advocate for equal rights. On May 21st of 1937, with navigator Fred Noonan, she took off from Oakland, California in an attempt to be the first woman to fly around the world. They had completed more than two-thirds of the journey and were last seen leaving New Guinea in July. Headed for Howland Island, a tiny location in the Pacific, they planned to land and refuel for the next leg to Hawaii. Coast Guard ships were situated in the area to assist. They could hear Amelia over the radio as she approached, but she was unable to hear them. She was having difficulty finding the small island. Her plane was never seen again. The U.S. Navy conducted a massive search but came up empty. Over the years, many theories and conspiracies have surfaced regarding what happened to Amelia, Fred Noonan, and their Lockheed Electra plane. These are the three main concepts of what might have happened. Number one, they ran out of fuel and crashed into the ocean. This most widely accepted explanation is logical because they were en route to refuel. General estimation is that they didn't have more than 95 gallons left by the time of approach to Howland Island. Number two, captured or shot down by the Japanese. It's been speculated that Amelia's true mission was an elaborate plan to spy on the Japanese, but her flight was no secret and never got anywhere near Japan. In 2017, a photo was found in the National Archives that some investigators claimed to show Amelia and Fred having been captured, but that has since been disproven. Number three, Gardner Island, or Nicomaroro, and the coconut crabs. Having failed to locate Howland Island, Amelia might have been able to land on nearby Nicomaroro. Distress calls were reportedly heard after the plane vanished. Artifacts that might have belonged to Fred and Amelia were discovered there. In 1940, a partial skeleton was found. Forensic analysis by different parties produced conflicting results, and the bones have since gone missing. Further speculation of the Nicomaroro theory suggests any remains were devoured by giant Pacific Island coconut crabs. So the question remains, what happened to Amelia Earhart? Psychic medium Maryam will channel this mystery to get answers.
Hi.
Hey.
All right. So tonight is going to be a challenging night, to say the least, for myself. The mystery of what happened to Amelia Earhart has fascinated the world since her disappearance in July of 1937. And along with navigator Fred Noonan, their plane simply vanished somewhere over the Pacific Ocean. So tonight we're going to explore the story and try to get answers as to what really happened, which makes me nervous because it's such a high profile case. Obviously, I've heard about it. I've never really dug into the details of it, but you know, of course we know. And so it just makes it more challenging, right, to do the work when you have all this kind of information floating around your head. And you know me, I try to come in with zero knowledge, and it's a lot easier to, uh, you know, hear things. So it might be a little bit more challenging to get to the bottom of it, but let's see if I can do this.
It's one that's been in the public eye for a long time. People are fascinated with it. And I'm sure most people remember last year when Deep Sea Vision revealed those images, those sonar images that look like a plane underwater near Howland Island. And turned out to be a tease. It was a rock formation. So there's
Oh, really?
yeah, everybody was thinking that was actually going to be the plane. There was a lot of hope on that one, and it turned out to not be the case. But there is another expedition going out in August of this year. There's an archaeologist called Dr. Richard Pettigrew, I believe, and he's gathering a group of scientists right now. They're going to go back to Nicomaroro because there's something called the Taraya object, which looks like a metallic plane-shaped object in the lagoon on the north side of Nicomaroro. It's fairly shallow waters. And they started first seeing it in 2015, and they think because tropical storm currents may have taken debris off the plane being there. And it's been visible since then, I think until last year. So they're going to go check that out. So that's
Wow.
up and coming.
And
Hopefully you
that
can confirm or deny.
right? And Nicomaroro is one of the pictures you sent me, right?
Yeah, they were en route to land and refuel at Howland Island. It's a tiny little island in the Pacific, and it's speculated that they didn't make it, but Nicomaroro is south of that, and they may have landed there.
Okay. Um, so let's begin. Okay. Let's see if I can do this. So, if you guys have questions, please put them in the chat and we'll get to them. And I've
Yeah,
got
I
some.
have a few. Whenever you're ready, we'll start those.
Okay.
Hopefully, people will have some also in the comments.
And we've got some pictures running here so you guys can kind of see the general idea. I've got pictures on my phone that I'm going to work with and see if I can. I think, hold on, let me let my dogs in because that's the priority for every show. Come on, come in. You know how you spend your life, like my whole life is dedicated to opening and closing doors for these dogs. Okay. I think I'm going to start by just seeing if I can tap into, obviously, just talk to Amelia. She feels like almost an angelic presence to me. Like, I feel like she hasn't necessarily reincarnated. I feel like she's just this big presence that has been involved in a lot of movements. She feels like she's been watching over for. It's like she had this assignment. So she comes into body, she has the assignment in body, but her bigger assignment is what she's been doing out of body. And there's this massive presence that she has out of body that almost, if I could put it into words, which keep in mind when I put things into words, it's not literally what I'm saying, but it's the energy, the vibe, the feel of what I'm experiencing, of her being a very high level being that is in charge of many and works with many. Obviously, mostly the feminine, but not just. Keeping the reason why this ended in a mystery was to keep her alive, was to keep her presence, her story, her experience in the forefront to a certain degree. Without the mystery of the crash, she may have been lost in history. But this keeps her alive, and it keeps those of us like us connecting with her, talking with her, and reaching out to her. Although she works incognito for the most part, she is very present in what takes place on Earth and what doesn't take place. She is a very, very large angelic being, one that can be equated to an Archangel Michael. And she knew that that was going to be her last flight. She knew that her time was limited and that she had a lot to accomplish in a short period of time. She was aware, but took the flight anyway because she was also aware of alignment, choice, and her karma and contract, more so than karma, contract of what she came in for and what she came in to do. The plane is at the bottom of the ocean. You're about to ask me where? For some reason.
We can take it in small steps if you want, or we can, whatever you
Well,
want to do.
let me see. For some reason, I'm hearing Colombia.
Really? Okay.
I may be misinterpreting, but I heard Colombia. The Congo? I'm going to keep saying words until I get closer to where
Okay.
maybe where so yes, baby steps. What do you have first for me?
Did they run out of fuel?
No.
Did they turn back towards New Guinea?
No.
Okay. Did they attempt to land on one of the islands in the Pacific?
Nosedive. It was a nosedive into the ocean.
Was it anywhere near Howland Island?
What was point A? Like, where did she take off from and where was she trying to get to?
She took off from Papua New Guinea and they were supposed to land and refuel on Howland Island.
Where is Howland Island? What's
out in the middle of the Pacific? It's a tiny, tiny little island.
does
It's not
Colombia
not inhabited at all.
Okay, Colombia or the Congo or any of those around anywhere that you've said?
Not
Or
specifically.
would she have crossed through there, been through there?
No. She was headed out into the middle of the Pacific and there was really nothing around except for some very tiny islands.
Okay. The plane took a nosedive. There was fuel. It was a malfunction. It was a malfunction. She once it started, she knew. It's like almost a puttering type of feeling. The plane, like almost just like stopping, just puttering out, like it malfunctioned. It was just purely an accident.
Mm-hmm.
It could be that I'm feeling and hearing Colombia or the Congo because the plane has moved, from
Right.
and so yes. So go ahead. What
If it
else?
went into the ocean, it could be anywhere at this point with all the currents. Let's see. What questions do I Let's see. So they weren't. How about the SOS messages? Did they send SOS messages? Because quite a few were heard in a few days after they disappeared.
In the few days after they disappeared?
Correct.
I'm just seeing a nosedive into the ocean and they were gone.
Okay. Did they survive that crash?
No.
And are the remains anywhere near the plane at this point?
No.
So the remains have never been found.
They won't be.
How about the plane? Will that ever be found?
The plane can be found. Remains, body remains will not be found, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to not get gross, but there may be a bone or two that
Yeah,
is.
it's been 88 years. Yeah.
Like I feel like there are skeleton parts that may surface. The plane is intact enough, not, but there's enough parts that it can be found. And I'm feeling like a water canteen of some sorts or something like that, or a backpack that had metal on it, or something that has like a metal type thing to it. It feels like a water canteen or something, or a lunch pack or something like that is still there
Mm-hmm.
and hasn't broken down. And that will be recovered. And that feels close to the plane.
Okay. But it's
Like,
nowhere near either of those two islands, Howland or Nicomaroro.
I'm not, I don't know. Let me think. Well, not think, but
Go ahead.
It's sitting at the bottom. I feel like it's just like the nose of it. Like the nose of it and then the two seats and that's it.
Uh-huh.
And there's, like I said, like a water canteen or something else that would identify the plane. Now, I'm not saying the rest of the plane won't be found and isn't there. I'm just seeing that. And it's, I'm telling you, I just keep hearing Colombia or the Congo. Like it's something that sounds like like that. Like that's what it sounds like.
Could it be like the Cook Islands?
It could be. Yeah. Let's see.
There's the Coral Sea and the Cook Islands. Those are the only two things I can think of that sound similar.
And that are close to that.
Mm-hmm. If they took off from New Guinea.
Because it does feel like the plane is in between where she started and where she was trying to get to. Like
Mhm.
I don't feel like it's completely in another
Right.
Cook or Coral, you said?
Mm-hmm.
It's a CO. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's possibilities.
So okay, so what is I don't think anyone, I mean, I don't know if anyone know this, but it's almost like I can see like I'm getting the number 34 like what do you call it? Like not dimensions, but like coordinates.
Coordinates? There you go. Yeah.
34, 57, 23.
Okay.
22. Uh, from I am. I mean, I'm gonna say it. It seems almost from like if you see the two islands, or from where she started to where she was headed, and then those coordinates are somehow in between those two. It's just that it's down so far. I don't know that it's even reachable.
Hmm.
It's the depth. It's down so deep. I don't know that we've gone that deep before.
Yeah, that's what makes it difficult. That's what they were doing with the last expedition with the sonar images. They had to go back and you need specific equipment to try to get that deep.
Although it is reachable.
Okay.
So if it is reachable, that means we do have the equipment and capability already. So now, more so than we obviously did before.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is possible. 54 is a coordinate that's standing out the most to me.
Okay.
Mm. And if I was talking to someone who, could do a in-depth research, I would just kind of in the back there have Colombia or the Congo just kind of sitting there, just maybe. But then logically, obviously, you would go to the two places you said, Cook and Coral.
Coral Sea and the Cook Islands.
And just like I said, the nose, the seats, there's something else there that will tell them this is her plane. So they will have definitive something
Yeah.
that will prove that it is in fact that plane.
That's a pretty specific plane. That's a Lockheed Electra too. There were a few made of those, but they would definitely know. So it was a malfunction. Was there anything that could have been done to prevent that from happening?
No.
Okay. Are they going to find anything near Nicaragua when they go back in August? Is anything in that lagoon related to the plane?
I don't feel anything from there.
Okay.
Personally. I'm trying to figure out how that island, what's what?
Nicaragua.
Nicamararo, how close is that to the Coral or the Cook Islands?
The Cook Islands are a little close to it.
I just don't feel anything there. I really don't. I'm not saying they can't get information from being there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel anything there.
At Nicaragua, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, what else?
Let's see. Susan was asking if Amelia's mission in life was to advance the women's movement.
I mean, yes, I feel like that was yes. But that was also more so her mission after life. That's why,
Mm-hmm.
there was, like I was saying, she had this bigger calling in the afterlife.
Do you have any idea what year we might find parts of that plane?
2032?
When the meteor is supposed to hit us?
Are you serious?
For sure.
Yeah, so that'll be helpful.
Mhm.
2032 feels so far away. I
It
just
does. It does.
really 2032? What are we in
There
right
may
now?
not be much left of it at that point.
35, 20. Is there another? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. 20. That's the first thing. Obviously the first thing I felt. I, yeah, but here's what's weird is I see it so clearly, meaning, and I feel like they're so close to finding it. I feel like they're so close to finding it. That's why saying 2032 feels crazy because they feel very close to finding it.
Did they come close? When Deep Sea Vision was out doing an exploration of the ocean floor, I don't think they really came that close, but they did some work. Has anyone ever come close to it?
I don't feel like they have, no. But I feel like with technology and with research, there and maybe that's why it's going to be 2032. I don't know. I don't know why 2032 stands out. Maybe I'm picking up on the asteroid, but I feel like because it feels closer. It feels like they're very close. So I don't know if I stand by that number.
Hmm.
It feels very close. Like they're so close. And I feel like there's the work that they're doing keeps moving them closer and closer to it.
Mm-hmm.
They're not getting farther away from it. It could be that the research is halted for some reason. But what is it that's coming up you said that they're doing?
In August, but they're
What are they
going to
doing?
they're going to Nicaragua though because of that satellite image they've been seeing on the lagoon there.
And what is the satellite image?
It's some looks like a metallic plane-shaped object they've been seeing on satellite imagery since 2015. I don't know why no one's ever gone there until now, but
And where is it? It's in the ocean?
no, it's in the lagoon of Nicaragua. So it's shallow waters there, pretty close to the island.
That could be what leads them to the plane. Because that feels like a small it could be a piece of it. And that could be what leads them to the plane.
Interesting. Okay.
Because I'm just feeling the like I want to say almost the hub of it, like where it initially like I feel like when it nosedived, it just kind of stuck there, right? And everything else kind of got moved around. But I feel like that could be it could be this is just this isn't a helpful response, but it either it either is or it isn't. If it is, if it is, it's going to lead them to the plane. If
Okay.
it isn't, then obviously it's not going to. But it's going to, if it is, it's going to somehow move the search forward, is what I'm saying. And increase and quicker. It feels like it is. Let me say this. It feels like it is a part of a plane. I can't confirm that it's her plane. That's what I want to
Okay.
say.
They may very well find something, whether it's hers or not. Okay.
Yeah, that feels more correct to me.
Okay. That, as usual, what you come up with blows all my questions out of the water.
What? um, w-
Where do you know? I'm just curious and not really. Who created the SOS signals? Where did those come from? People heard
yeah.
those all over. Lots of people, I think like 50 or so, were confirmed.
Okay, so let me answer that. And I see Joanne's questions. Was she gifted? Did she reincarnate? Oh, Patricia asked that. She didn't reincarnate. She's like I said, she's like a archangel type level. Uh and she so Joanne, I don't like to use the word gifted because it makes it sound like she had something we all don't have. She was aware of her intuitive skill set and she used it. Yes. Now, the SOS signals, and those came out after?
Yeah, for up to 4 or 5 days after they went missing.
What the what? Talk
That's
about
why a
throwing
lot
me
of
off.
people speculate that they were able to land on Nicomaroro, there at the edge, and maybe then after a couple of days, the plane was floated away.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
No?
No, I just feel very strongly no.
Okay.
So then, where did those come from? And so when we say SOS, you're saying it came through to who? Like it came through to,
People with, like, ham radios across the country were hearing them.
and do we know what was being said?
As I recall, was something about Fred being injured, seriously injured, and just that they needed help, that kind of a
Mm,
thing?
no, no, that was not them.
Hmm,
That wasn't them.
okay. Could have been fake, or who knows, as ridiculous as that would be, but and so the remains, the bones that were found on Nicomaroro don't belong to either of them either.
Hold on. I have hold that question,
Mhm.
Harlow, and I know Anton has a question, so hang on, Anton. I want to go back to the SOS. It reminds me of the episode, and if you didn't see it, go watch it, that we did of the Zodiac Killer.
Yeah.
That there's these people do things, they're not pranksters, but fraudulent, and do things to keep a story alive
Mhm.
or to keep the drama or whatever it is. And I feel like those SOSs were just straight up, they were fake. They
Creating a
were
news
just fake.
story even, yeah.
Yeah, they were just fake. So the SOSs were fake because they nosedived and they were gone.
Okay.
They couldn't have survived that impact.
Yeah, Anita's saying the message is heard after Amelia was lost. I mean, there's no way they could have actually been identified specifically, I don't think.
It was not them. Let me put it
Okay.
that way. It was not them. Okay, so then you asked me another question.
Oh, then the remains were neither one of them. On Nicomaroro, some remains were found, but it wasn't Fred or Amelia, is what you're saying.
Did I say that?
They found a partial skull and some bones. Initially, the forensic analysis said it was a male, an older male, and then a separate company did analysis and confirmed it was female and potentially Amelia. So it's conflicting. We still don't know. And then the bones went missing, and they're still missing to this day.
Really? Someone stole her bones?
Evidently,
Oh, the same people sending off the SOS, apparently.
they ended up in the Fiji authorities, and they were lost.
Bones were not theirs. Skull. The skull was. The bones were not.
The skull was whose?
I don't know. Just kidding. Hold on, let me see. It feels like, I mean, I got a 50-50 chance here. It feels more like Fred. Is it? But yet I feel her there too, but those bones weren't theirs. Her They're gonna find a second skull. Ooh,
Oh, Nicaragua.
maybe. The second skull is still somewhere close to where they found the first one. So then, yes, to answer what yes, right? Because that's where they found the first one.
Mm-hmm.
That feels like it was Fred's. I feel like hers is close to his and they'll find it. The bones, though, the bones feel gone. It's so, I don't like, ugh. I'm not into this stuff, but I feel like those bones were like eaten or taken, or like not
Well,
taken by humans, but like their actual bones were like eaten by fish or something, or like, I don't
probably the
know.
crabs. Those are the famous coconut crabs.
Oh, yeah. Oof. So, but the skulls remain. Yes, the skulls remain. And that's Fred's. Hers will be found.
Where
Close
will
to
it be?
where,
At
sorry,
the
go ahead.
island? It will be found on the island itself or in the water?
Buried in the island. It'll resurface. I almost want to say like it'll resurface, like someone will be making a sandcastle and find it. Like it's
Nobody,
it'll,
nobody. Yeah, nobody lives on that island, but
well, that's good.
that team is going back in August, so maybe they'll find that.
Yeah. It's there. It's there. It can be resurfaced.
Hmm. And Anton said maybe the numbers relate to the longitude and latitude. I put them in just as coordinates and didn't get anything specific, but I'll try later after we're done.
Are coordinates different from longitude and latitude?
I didn't look specifically for that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't even know what coordinates are, and I don't really know what longitude and latitude even means. I mean, I know what the words mean, sort of, but like, I don't know how you would.
And you gave several different numbers, so it's hard to know.
54.
Yeah, I know 54, but then 34, 23, 22.
Didn't I say 27 or something?
You said 57 first.
57. Oh, okay.
You
Yeah.
said 34, 57, 23, and 22, and then you said 54 for sure.
Okay, so I got you all over the place. So that'll be
Yeah.
helpful. Surprisingly, I'm good at finding lost animals, but this I feel like it might be a I can see it, but I don't know how to get you there. But it'll be found.
All right. That's all the questions I'm seeing.
Oh, Nicamararo is close to Tongo, so could sound like Congo.
Possibly.
Oh. Interesting. Anita, but the messages heard after Amelia was lost was
Yeah,
identified as actually Amelia.
we covered that, I think. I
Yeah,
don't know that there's
Anita,
any way to verify if it was from her or not. Other than
Anita,
Fred's
yeah.
name was said, that may have been why people were sure it was her.
Uh, that's interesting. It could be Tonga. Like, or yeah. Okay. So we're on to something there. What else? What else do
No,
we when do they go on this mission?
in August.
Oh, that's right. You said in August. Okay.
Yeah, they're gathering scientists and funds and equipment and all that right now.
Can Maryam connect to the navigator is navigation and pick up on location information.
That's a good. Can you connect to Fred? There he is. He pops up right as we speak about him. You get anything from Fred?
What was Fred's role?
He was the navigator.
Oh,
He was an experienced navigator.
huh. What was Fred's last name?
Noonan.
Well, let's see, Fred Noonan. Mm. He was, yes, experienced. He was kind. He was patient. He was a very good, kind soul and was very diligent, thorough. Mm, well, now I'm hearing Cuba. So, um, so I'm sort of seeing like a, so like a, okay, what, like a not a compass, but like mm, the plane in the middle.
The sextant,
Okay. I don't know what
maybe.
that is, but yeah.
He was very good at reading the stars and navigating that way also.
Ah, so like if I see the plane in the middle, I see 37 down here. 54 over there. And these two are blurry to me. 27 something. Mm, mm, he's more to the right. Um, you would have to have someone that knows what I'm saying and then can keep moving me around. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I like asking me like, so is it this or is it that or is it, because that's all I don't, none of this, those numbers don't mean anything to me. So I don't know, like the 54 and I think I said 30 something, like, or those are clear. And it's like, I see the plane and it's that number's to the left and down, and then up and to the right, I don't see clearly. And so I would need someone to kind of walk me through how to get me there.
Yeah, I can't help you there much. Susan says, wasn't Noonan supposed to be an alcoholic? I heard about that rumor, but people that knew him said that he was very no nonsense on the job and that didn't come into play.
No, yeah, he had nothing to do with it at all. It was no one's fault. I can feel the plane. It started to sputter. Like it's like it sounds like when a plane or a car, I don't know what a plane sounds like when it runs out of gas, fortunately. Like when a car runs out of gas. That's what it sounds like. It's sputtering and then it just turned off, just stopped functioning. It just literally stopped functioning and just
Did they,
nosedive.
when they went into the water, right before they went into the water, did they see any landmass at all, or was it just pure ocean?
I just see ocean. But I see, so like, I'm trying to, let me, like, I see it. Uh, so like over here is land, and they're like they're nose diving over here. and then over here is land, but then like here in front of them is all just water. There's no land. Like it's very desolate or isolated.
So they may have been farther east than they were supposed to be. I also had read that the headwinds were a lot stronger than they had anticipated, and that was part of what helped him plot the course in navigating. So they could have been taken off course a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, because it feels like a very isolated area that they ended up in. And that isn't where they were trying to get to, but they ended up in an isolated spot. And the only real like land is that, like I said, that one over there in the corner, but in front of them and around them this way is nothing. And then way from where they came from is land, but otherwise there's like nothing else.
So they could be east of Howland or east of Nicomaroro.
So the island I see them to the right of that island.
Mm-hmm. Anne made an interesting comment. She says maybe Amelia is skewing the numbers to help keep the mystery going.
That's a great point.
Mm-hmm. How about when you look at the plane itself? Do you get anything from that?
Like the picture of the plane?
Uh-huh.
Well, if Amelia is just going to mess with us, then none of this really matters. Just kidding.
I think I sent you one. Maybe I did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I can see the plane in the water already.
Okay. So the plane is still deep in the ocean.
Yeah.
But bones have moved with currents, which makes sense, more over to Nicomaroro.
Skull is close to where they found the other skull. The bones have been eaten.
So time's a wasting.
Yeah, I don't think there's any bones to be there. It doesn't feel like there's any bones to be found. Those are
Okay.
gone. The skull can be found. The plane,
yeah.
The skull, her skull, and then that big portion of the front part of the plane, and then that, like I said, like a canteen or something is there too.
Right. You said
And
like seats or different parts of the plane are still there, which they may
yeah,
have to resort to sonar again.
yeah, but they'll find it.
Okay. Well, that was extremely interesting.
Was it? I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I was kind of all over the place. Okay, good.
Well,
I got better than I thought.
it's been 88 years. And if you think about tropical storms and currents, it could be all over the place.
Right.
Literally.
Let's see. Anita. Hi, Anita. Looked up her navigation info. She had a Sperry directional gyro and Maryam.
Yeah, that was on the front of the plane. If you look at that circle in front of the plane, you don't think you can see it in that one. But
plane and center as you
yeah, that
described.
was mounted on that plane specifically for that trip.
Okay, wait. So which picture do I look at? Is she referencing?
I don't know if I sent you that one.
Okay, but she's saying that she had a Sperry directional gyro. The gauge does have an outline of a plane in the center.
Oh, what you were seeing? Okay.
And where do we see that picture that Anita found, or where is that?
No, she's talking about you were seeing that. I was thinking maybe you were seeing not a compass but the sextant, but that actually explains what you described.
Oh, what Anita's saying is what I described.
What you were seeing with the plane in the center of it.
Yes.
Right. That makes sense.
Interesting. That was mounted inside. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, it would be cool if there was some sort of navigation person that could help read the numbers or like talk me through what I was looking at, because that was really, yeah, that part was clear. Thanks to Fred.
Okay. Yeah, he's kind of forgotten in
I
this story.
know.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
know.
if you can send that picture to me.
Oh yeah, Anita, is it if she has it on her phone, we can wait a second, we can show everybody.
Yeah.
If you just text it to me, then I can throw it up here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll hang tight for that. Wait, let's talk about what we're doing next week.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, I have to. Is it oh, that's right. Oh, now I was thinking of the next true crime. The next true crime
No.
is the next okay. Next week is not true crime. It's going to be Alien ET, but the week after that we're doing Jean Benet. Is that fair? Are we maybe?
I'm hampered by image copyrights, but I can still put a timeline together and that kind of a thing.
What do you think? Do you want to?
I mean, it's a good story, and I know a lot of people are fascinated by it,
All right.
but it won't be
Um
a lot of great visuals.
that's all right. Well, so maybe we'll do that. But next week we're going to do there's been a lot of reports of strange fog that isn't really fog and of weird sounds that the earth is making that are being
Mhm.
reported like almost all over, like all over, not just one location. So we're going to take a look at these strange occurrences, why they're happening now, how like is it a coincidence that it's happening when we're having all this ET activity? Um and so yeah, we're going to try and answer some of those questions cuz it's very strange.
Okay, I just texted that to you.
Oh good. Okay. All right, I'm going to send this mm, to myself
Yeah,
and
she
then
said
I'll
it won't be exact, but it's very close. This one is newer.
okay.
It would have looked different back in the 30s.
Now let me see if it may not let me image it some a lot of times it makes me change the format.
Hold it up to your camera.
Wait, what?
Hold it up if you can't.
Oh. Oh, you mean just hold the picture up on my phone?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Hold on. 20 minutes later. Like this?
There you go.
Ooh,
Navigational with the plane in the center. That's just what you described.
yep. That's
Very good.
awesome. Thank you, Anita. Huh. That is fascinating. That was fun, you
It is.
guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Harlow, for all that
Mhm.
work.
It's a fascinating story.
Yeah, you've been wanting to do that one for a while, so I'm glad we were
I
able to
have.
knock that out. And then we'll keep as stuff, as information keeps coming up as far as like in the news or maybe what they find in August or if anything comes up
Mhm.
between now and then, we'll do more.
Yeah.
If you guys have suggestions for true crime, let us know. So we're thinking of doing Jean Benet in 2 weeks. Next week is another ET night. And in just a few minutes, I'm going to go live for a guided meditation and a quick tarot. Thank you, Harlow, for all your hard work. These true
Sure.
crimes couldn't be possible without everything that you're doing, and they're really fun.
Well, it wouldn't be possible without your channeling either.
All right. So neither one of us can do this without the other.
There you go.
Okay, you
Having an
guys.
audience is cool too. So appreciate everybody that was here tonight.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's always great having the help. That was awesome. So I'll see you guys in a few minutes, or we'll see you next week for the infamous ET night.
All right.